What's up guys, I'm the East Coaster fan, and well, we are now at the end of 2024. And if you remember at the beginning of the year, I made a prediction video with 10 of my own personal predictions as to what could happen this year. And let me tell you, some were right, and some were dead wrong. So without further ado, let's get into the predictions. Alright, so as a quick reminder of what I did, I made 10 predictions with half being positive and the other half being negative. So, let's go into the first prediction now, shall we? Now my first theory is that Flash Vertical Velocity, which is the new coaster coming to Six Flags Great Adventure, is going to open before July 4th. Now this is a little weary because my last visit to Holiday in the Park, they've barely started construction, so I'm not sure how quickly they're going to be able to put it up. But it is a clone model, and Vekoma has made this before. So I'm hopeful that by the time Great Adventure opens in March, we'll see enough construction progress to the point where it'll open in the summer, kind of late summer, but I'm thinking that we're going to be able to ride it before 4th of July. Well, going into a tough one right away. Flash Vertical Velocity did not end up opening this year. In fact, it got delayed all the way to 2025. Now, throughout the park, it's saying that it's going to open in spring 2025, and it looks promising, but since we're just looking at predictions right now, yeah, that one is definitely wrong. The second prediction is that Comet will ride noticeably different with the new trains. If you didn't know, Comet was announced to get new trains at IAAPA this year from the Philadelphia Toboggan Company, and instead of the traditional buzz bars, we're getting those normal PTC restraints that you see on rides like Thunderhawk at Dorney Park, Boulder Dash has them, and a bunch of other wooden coasters do. I think Roar at Six Flags America. But those new restraints will impact the ride. I'm praying not, but I think it might. Well, if you guys saw my vlog from Hershey Park, you probably know my thoughts on how I thought the new Comet rode, and I think this is my first prediction that I got right. Unfortunately, Comet did run, I think, worse this year because you took out the buzz bars and put in just the normal PTC ratcheting restraints. I kind of made a running joke out of it with the pictures that I took as I was on Comet this year, but I do think the trains did impact the ride experience. Now, some people think the ride experience drastically changed because of this, and while I don't agree in that sense, I do think that the ride did drop in my rankings a little bit in 2024. My third prediction is that Iron Menace is going to have better theming than Copperhead Strike. I got the chance to check out Copperhead last year when I made my first trip to Carowinds, and I was amazed at the theming. And I think that Cedar Fair is really just trying to step up their game slowly as they build more and more attractions. And if going through Ghost in the Machine at Dorney's Haunt told me anything, they have a lot of faith in theming, and I think they can pull it off. I do think this is another prediction that I unfortunately got wrong. Comparing Iron Menace to Copperhead Strike, I think Copperhead is a lot more of a story-driven attraction than Iron Menace is, but I will still give Dorney Park credit. The work they did in theming Iron Menace this year was spectacular, and throw in the rest of the Steel Yard, and it's amazing to see just how much work went into Iron Menace. I think it's honestly the best addition they've made since I've been going to that park. There may even be more theming to come along the way, so while I still don't think it's going to reach that echelon of Copperhead Strike, where literally everything around that area is themed so well, I think Iron Menace is still really well done. So this is one I'll be willing to take the loss on. My next prediction is that this will be the last season for both the pirate ship and Adventure Falls at Adventureland. Now, this is something we've been hearing for a while now. There have been findings of these rides for sale on websites, but nothing official from the park yet. These rides are still sticking around, and this will be their final send-off year, and the following year, 2025, I think will be something big in that spot. So at the time of this video, there was speculation revolving around the pirate ship and Adventure Falls leaving Adventureland. And maybe 1 or 2 months later, I forget exactly when, is when the news dropped of Adventureland's 5-year plan. I made a video on this whole topic, and in that we got confirmation of these 2 rides closing. In Pirate Ship Spot, we got Moon Chaser this year, and in 2025 we're going to be getting Wave Twister in part of the plot that Adventure Falls was in. So this is one I got correct, but I think going back to this prediction, I think this was a fairly safe one.
I think 2 years ago, maybe a year ago, they announced that Wildcat at Lake Compounce would be closed all last season to get fully or partially Titan track work on it, and I do think this is what's gonna fix the ride. So next time I go to Lake Compounce, I'm hoping that Wildcat will be rideable again and it'll no longer be my least favorite coaster of all time.
This is another one that I can say I got right. I got the chance to try out Wildcat at Lake Compounce this summer as part of my Ace Day at the Lake, and I was surprised to see just how much of it was fixed for my initial ride in, I think, 2018. This ride isn't perfect, but it is so much better than it used to be, and I can confidently say it's no longer my least favorite roller coaster. So well done for Lake Compounce for that work done, and if you're gonna continue to improve Wildcat, maybe it'll be a wooden coaster I'll put in the same league as, like, I don't know, Thunderhawk.
I think Penguin Trek at SeaWorld Orlando is going to be seen as a disappointment. Don't get me wrong, it's a new model from B&M, and I'm sure that kids, families alike, are gonna like the attraction. It really depends, I think, on the indoor portion and what they do kind of in that outdoor courtyard area between Manta and where Antarctica is. If it's the type of scenery that Arctic Rescue has at SeaWorld San Diego, I don't know, honestly.
While I've personally not ridden Penguin Trek, from those that I've talked to, the reception has been sort of mixed. Some people just like it fine, others just don't like it at all. I've heard things about, like, the queue setup and the whole exit process, and once I experience it for the first time, I'll be sure to get it on video for this channel. But I do think this did end up being a bit of a disappointment, as people were expecting a bit more out of this model. But do I think it's a disappointing coaster for SeaWorld? No, they needed a ride like this pretty bad, especially when Icebreaker turned out to be much more of a thrill ride than it was supposed to be. I just wish that B&M, whether it be in designing, manufacturing, learned some of the lessons that they got from the coasters built this year, in that I hope they're a lot smoother for 2025.
2024's sleeper hit is going to be Fire in the Hole at Silver Dollar City. And I think the reason that I think it's a sleeper hit is just because we know nothing about this, basically. Whether it's going to be a near clone of the original Fire in the Hole that closed, or much more wild. We really don't know, and with RMC doing it, it leaves a lot of potential there. I think Silver Dollar City is definitely going to do a good job with theming the attraction. That, I think, is a no-brainer. But the fact that it's more dark ride than coaster, I think it's going to stay hidden until it opens.
I think looking back on this, the term sleeper hit is really different for everybody, but I do think that Fire in the Hole can constitute as a sleeper hit. The only thing I really heard that was sort of bad about it is that it played it too safe, but other than that, I think RMC did a really good job with this family coaster concept, and I won't be surprised if we see more pop up here and there, maybe a new Blazing Fury at Dollywood, I don't know. But to everyone who did ride Fire in the Hole, it looked like they had fun, and I can call this a sleeper hit. It was a coaster that not a lot of people thought about, especially with 2024, so much going on. Fire in the Hole just kind of was part of that mix.
I think this year, 2024, is unfortunately going to be the last year for memberships. Now, I love my membership. I think it is insane value for what I get whenever I go to Six Flags Great Adventure or any other amusement parks. With the whole merger, I know it's put memberships in question, and I don't think they're surviving past this year.
This was actually one of the predictions that I was fairly certain about at the beginning of the year, and I'm surprised to say that I got this one wrong. I am happy to have my membership still going on for 2025, and I added an all-park passport to it, so it'll be weird going to some of these Cedar Fair parks next year like King's Dominion or Cedar Point with my Diamond Elite membership. And that's not a trip confirmation, that's just me thinking out loud.
I think we're gonna get official confirmation of a Villains Land coming to Magic Kingdom sometime in the future. I don't know when, because they take a slow time building stuff. We're gonna get a much clearer picture, no more blue sky, a Villain's Land is coming to Magic Kingdom.
Another prediction that I'm happy to say I got correct. This was long rumored to be one of the big things announced at D23, but at this time, I wasn't sure if this was going to be part of the Blue Sky concepts that would be like taken back, almost like Encanto in Magic Kingdom. But this ended up actually being showcased a bit at D23. The only part I got wrong about this was that I thought we would get more definitive information on Villain's Land, like attraction names or an actual layout. I'll still say the land is a bit in Blue Sky, but we did get a confirmation that it is going to be a part of Beyond Big Thunder, so I am pretty happy about that. And with that being said, let's move on to our final prediction of 2024.
I think that for its inaugural year, Top Thrill 2 is going to get the same amount of downtime, basically, as Top Thrill Dragster. Now, I know this is not what Cedar Fair wanted, but look at what's here. You have a Strata coaster that is built by Zamperla. This is the biggest roller coaster that they've ever done. So I feel like there's bound to be problems. I hope I'm wrong, but I think it's going to be a technical nightmare in its opening year. And over the course of the season, they're going to get a sense of how the attraction works. We already see that testing was going on at the end of 2023, and I think it's going to continue kind of here and there when appropriate, but I do think there's going to be a lot of downtime for this attraction, unfortunately, still. And I'm not sure if Cedar Fair is going to like it, but it's what they gotta do with this new Zamperla attraction.
Oh, this is a fun one to look back on. Quite possibly one of the more defining stories of 2024 was just how big of a failure Top Thrill 2's inaugural year was. It was only open for 8 days, so if you didn't ride it during the first week or weekend, you didn't get to ride it in its opening year. So consider yourself lucky if you did get to ride Top Thrill 2. As of the recording of this video, the ride is currently testing and undergoing modifications, so hopefully it'll have a smoother launch in 2025. I mean, Cedar Point's also going to be getting Siren's Curse, so that's exciting. But yeah, this coaster not only faced as much downtime as Top Thrill Dragster, it well exceeded it. And I bet you Cedar Fair / Six Flags is not happy about that at all. So there you go. This is kind of a quicker but fun video that I thought I'd put together. And if you look back at all my predictions, I actually did pretty well. 7 out of 10. I'll take that. Thank you all so much for watching, and let's hope my predictions are much better for 2025.